The evidence I shall give before this committee is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Thank you, Honorable Magerer. Now, I think from my far end, for the purpose of records and for the benefits of the visitors in our gallery, we want to introduce ourselves. From my far left, honorable members, let's introduce ourselves.
Thank you, Chairman. My name is Honorable Protich MCA representing Sigawit, and a member of this committee. And with regards to that, Chairman, I wish to just the honorable member, CEC nominee for agriculture, is my long-time friend. He took care of students at the university. He mentored me in a political party called ODM. He's been a long-time friend, but that notwithstanding, whatever we're going to discuss today during this voting exercise will not in any way affect my role as a member of County Assembly and the member voting the nominee. Thank you, Mheshimiwa Margaret Langat.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kiprotirawan. From explanation, it seems you are deeply rooted with friendship with Honorable Magerer, but let us hope it will not interfere with what is going on here. Honorable Eric B.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Eric B., MCA, Kablela, 3rd Ward. Chair, I also know Honorable Magerer. He actually came for our induction. He taught us and is a great friend of mine. By knowing him, it will not interfere with this exercise. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Next.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Bert Chiruyat, the Deputy Speaker of the County Assembly of Kericho, and more importantly, representatives of the people of Ainamoi. Chair Magerer has always been my good friend. You remember he served under the Kericho Municipal Board in the previous government, and you know we made friendship, and also he's a neighbor here in town, also, Chair. But I want to assure you that knowing him will not interfere with the findings of this honorable committee, Chair. Thank you.
You are saying he's your neighbor in town, so can we say Magerer comes from Ainamoi?
No, Chair. You know, Magerer, looking at his CV, he has done work for over 22 years, so he has a home in town, just like all of us. Even you have a home in town, but you know you are a member of representing Kamasi and in Kipkelia. So we all come to this town and invest.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I'm David Maritim, MCA Chief Steward, member to this committee. Welcome, Honorable Magerer.
Thank you. To my right.
Thank you, Chairman. My name is Vincent Kodil. I represent the great people of Londiani, and I want to declare interest that I know Mheshimiwa Magerer Langat. He was our former MP. I used to support him also when he was trying for the MP, and I've interacted with him in several forums. I would like to say my knowledge of Honorable Magerer Langat will not interfere with this exercise. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Anthony Ruto, MCA Kipkelia and Ward, and also a member to this committee. I wish to declare my interest. Magerer Langat is a long time friend. I'm his MCA. He was my MP when he was the member of parliament, Kipkelian West. And we are real Kipkelians, the larger Kipkelian. And he's also a relative. We married from the same clan. However, that one whatsoever will not interfere with my mandate as one of the panelists. On the same note, I wish to congratulate you, my brother, for being nominated as the CEC in the Department of Agriculture.
Thank you, thank you.
I know it has been very hard for you. And as the MCA for Kipkelian Ward, I wish to thank the governor for giving you this opportunity as a nominee.
Now, I know Honorable Anthony Ruto, you are out of order. And for that case, let's continue. Honorable Siele.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Julius Siele, representing the great people of Waldai, a member to this committee. Seems as if I'm the only one who have not met with the nominee. I just saw him when he was chased from the chair ODM. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chairman. My name is Francis Terer.
Thank you.
MCA Chibunwat. And I want to say I know Magerer. Magerer has been a friend to me. But nevertheless, our friendship will not interfere with the outcome of this process. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Francis. Now, we are friends of the committee who are in attendance. I kindly request that they introduce themselves.
Thank you, Chairman. My name is Ezron Kimgeno. I'm the chairman in charge of land housing and physical planning, and I am representing the great people of Chilchila. I'm a curator to the committee, and I want to declare my interest that I know Magerer. He's hailed from my sub-county. At the same time, he's a friend, and he's as a municipal board member. Thank you.
Thank you, honorable members.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm Kumgetiko Skefinson, nominated MCA representing the youths of Kericho, and also I come from Kilian West, where Magerer is coming from. Magerer also is my friend, and we've come a long way with him. I decided to come here to make sure I see him before I made sure I came here to make sure I supported him also in encouragement, because he has been my friend. He supported me when I was in high school. He used to support me.
Thank you.
So we wish him the best, and as Kipkelian, we will be happy. You know, I'm just only a friend of the committee. I'm not in the panel.
Thank you. For members that is outside the panel, there is no need of even declaring the interest, because I know when it comes to issues of voting, you will not be among those who will be voting for that matter. And just introduce yourself briefly.
Fancy Korir is my name. I'm a Kaspuria to the committee. I also know Mr. Magerer as a family friend and a business person within Kericho County. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Chairman, first let me say my name is Ruti Charon, representative of good people of Seretut and the Web County Assembly of Kericho. Karibu sana Mheshimiwa Magerer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chair. I'm Gilbert Kiprop Ngetich, Kimarus MCA Kisiara. And let me just welcome the nominee in this assembly, and I'm really wishing him the best. He was my MB when I resided in Kenya. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, maybe our secretariat and the staff, you can introduce yourself quickly.
I'm Sharon Mebe, Deputy Clerk, Legislative Services.
My name is Billy Chiriot, Committee Clerk. My name is Kibet Peter, the Legal Officer.
I'm Kimota Liston, answered.
Chironowini, Legal Officer.
Julius Kurgat, Sergeant at Arms.
PR officer. Thank you. Now, back to business. I know I'm the only one. I have not introduced myself. I'm Philip Prono, MCA representing Kamasha, the leader of Majority County Assembly of Kericho. And in this case, I'll be chairing this session. Apologies for our chair, the Honorable Speaker is on another meeting. So I kindly request that I want to give this opportunity to Honorable Magerer Langat first to introduce himself. And I kindly request that personally, Magerer comes from a constituency that it happens I also come from the same constituency. What matters interest, I don't think there is anything that might bring about the conflict of interest during this session and even aftermath of this. So, members, I think we are very free. Welcome to this interactive session. I know it is a matter of checking the suitability of Magerer Langat to the docket that he has been nominated to. Magerer Langat, I know this is not your first time appearing before this house. The previous time you appeared before the appointments committee, and I think you are familiar with so many members here who happen to have been in the previous appointments committee under Professor Paul Chepkwony. I'll give you an opportunity to introduce yourself, but I kindly request that I'll give you around 20 minutes to fully introduce yourself from who you are up to where your CV is explained for us to make this session very short enough. So kindly, extensively introduce yourself. Welcome. Your microphone.
Thank you, Chair, and honorable members of the committee and members of this gracious house. I want to say from the onset that I'm delighted to be back in this house to interact with this committee on matters relating to my recent nomination to the docket of agriculture, livestock, fisheries, and cooperatives as a CECM member. I want to thank God for the far that I've come. I also want to thank this gracious house for affording this time so that we can interact again together. I'm happy to see my old and new friends. I'm equally excited that we are meeting again in a very serious business pertaining to our county. And I would like to thank also His Excellency the Governor, Dr. Eric Mutai, for his appointment or nomination. He thought of me. As my MCA aptly put it, I think he understands me a lot. So I'm really excited that I'm here today. Having said that, I want to acknowledge the presence of my spouse in this very house. She has been the pillar of everything that we have done together. And this morning when I told her I'm coming for this session, she said she was going to attend. And I think she's in this house. So thank you for according her that opportunity as well. And the many friends that have come here to witness the opportunity. I've got so many friends from across the county. And I wish also to thank the County Assembly of Kericho, through the speaker or the chair of this committee in absentia, and for particularly going
Maybe told you, and I'm sorry.
Yes.
Kindly forward your testimonials to the secretariat, maybe, so that as you introduce yourself, they will be going through. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Chair. I was saying I'm grateful to the Speaker of this House, who is the chair of the substantive chair of this committee. He was gracious enough to tell me he would have wished to be the one chairing my session. But I want also to say he's a friend to me. We have worked before with this assembly. I'm happy that this assembly has gone online, and I want to take this opportunity to appreciate our people who are following us on the online platform. And I think it was very wise of this house to think of reaching out to many Kenyans, those who are either residents of this county or friends of this county who may not be physically with us here. So I'm thanking the county assembly for that opportunity. And just to say, I enjoyed yesterday's interaction via online. I was out of town, but I was able to follow every bit of it. So that makes you at least one of the finest assemblies that you are around. So we appreciate that the Gen Zs and the younger generation, I'm sure they are online and they would like to know what you normally do. So I'm grateful. Having said that, Magerer Langat is a fourth-born child in a family of 10, and I was born on the 23rd of December, the year 1973, in a close-knit village and community of Siret in the current Kipkelion West, Kericho County. I attended my earlier education at Siret Primary School, where I did my early childhood as well as the lower primary, as it was called at that time, before I moved, or I was transferred to Nakuru, to a school in the municipality of Nakuru called Mamangina Primary School, where I sat my KCP in the year 1988. Later on, I performed well, and I think I was the top 10 in the municipality of Nakuru at that time. I was proud of myself and achievement, especially being a Kerichian. And I was accorded an opportunity at the prestigious Moi High School, Kabarak, to do my O-levels, where I cleared in 1992, sorry, and proceeded to join Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology from 1994 and checked out in 1998. I am married, as I had said before, to one wife, and God has blessed us with children, and they are up and about. When I finished my university education, that is when I first encountered the public, because I was I got an opportunity to work in this gracious county of Kericho. At that time, it was called the District of Kericho, with an NGO which had moved in called Adventist Development and Relief Agency, ADRA, and I was taken in as an intern first, and later on confirmed as an extension officer and posted to Belgut. I actually lived at the township of Sosiot. Mheshimiwa is out here. He should have known that I stayed in his area when in my earlier days. And I worked with the farmers around the entire Belgut, Keben, Seretut, Koiwalela, Kiptome, Mindililuet, and Kapsomboch, and some parts of Sigawit, especially in Sumek. I think Mheshimiwa is familiar with the area. If you ever saw a napier grass growing there, that was propagated by me and my team, and we started a very successful dairy farm at that time. I was later transferred to Kitui Emergency Program, a program that was implemented by ADRA Kenya and the United Nations World Food Program as a senior logistics manager in charge of relief food distribution, where I visited nearly every village of Kitui, the current Kitui County. At that time it was Kitui District and the Mwingi District. So I know quite a number of the geography in that area. And we distributed food to the starving communities of the Ukambani area. And I did it so diligently. In the year 2002, my contract ended. And I volunteered my service to the community back at home, and was part of the team that started the Lesirwa Day Secondary School, for those who know. I think Mheshimiwa Ruto knows the place very well, as a founder as well as a teacher who was on a volunteer. Work that I did for almost a year before I decided to try my luck in politics in 2002, albeit just to test waters. So that year I didn't do much, very well. Nevertheless, I moved on. So 2003, I was accorded an opportunity to work with Cooper Kenya Limited, which is the leading animal health company in Kenya, where I worked as an officer in charge of sales and training, and later confirmed as a territory sales manager in charge of entire North Rift. I'm happy to say at that time, Honorable Dr. Bett, who is the CEO in the department that I'm joining, was my regional manager, so he was my boss. Dr. Bett, I think you know him, the house knows him. And we worked very well. 2005, I left the company to join a leading agrochemical industry called Osho Chemicals Limited, which was dealing with agrochemicals. At that point, I was in charge of the entire West Kenya region, starting from Nyahururu all the way to Bungoma and Busia and Nyanza, Kisii, Isebania, and Turkana. I worked for about a year and a half, where I turned around the sales and the uptake of the products of Osho Chemicals. Maybe some of you would remember, I ran a weekly program in one of the local radio stations called CECM, and the program was called Langat. It still stands up today. That was a program designed and engineered and delivered by myself with the sole purpose of outreach to the farmers with regard to solutions that were going to help them within their farms to ensure that their crop was good, disease-free, and they had quality of that particular product. So in 2007, December, I think around, not December, but January, 2007 January, I resigned from the company to go fully into politics, and I threw my hat to the constituency of Kipkelion, which is the current Kipkelion East and West, and that year the star was with me. I was elected the youngest member ever in that constituency to be elected as a member of parliament. I served, of course, for one term of 5 years. Within that term, there is quite a lot that I can say we achieved, ranging from the usual developments on infrastructure to water, supporting education, supporting agriculture, where I revived a number of cattle dips, and which were very useful to the farmers, and also introduced, most importantly, which I consider the biggest success during my tenure as the Member of Parliament for Kipkelion, the Greater Kipkelion, the Kipkelion Coffee Mill that is housed in Fort Tenan Township. That was purely my idea, conceived in my office and my house, and I want to thank the cooperators from that region, and indeed some parts of Kericho. We had Ainamoi, and we had farmers all coming all the way from Roret. I see Mheshimiwa Kimaros is here, and among them were the principal pioneers who developed that particular mill. To date, it has benefited our farmers, and when I look back, I don't see myself as a person who lost a seat. I actually see myself as a person who benefited the community and maybe suffered in the event, but the community is happy. So Kipkelion Coffee Mill will be one of the areas, and I want to thank His Excellency the Governor for giving me a docket on cooperatives. So if approved by this great committee and the House, I know will inject more energy to that sector, generally on cooperatives, and also basically to ensure that the farmers make the best out of what they sow. So in 2010, I was appointed to cabinet of His Excellency late President Kibaki, where I served as an assistant minister in the Ministry of Energy in charge of petroleum, and later moved to the side of electricity. What I was able to achieve, apart from within our own county, cannot be gainsaid. We were able to connect many areas, especially within the South Rift, all the way to Koyet in Ndanai, all the way to Chemaner in Bomet, all the way to Marieshoni in Kuresoi, among others, Kamara, and of course my principal constituency, which when I took over had less than 7% connectivity level. I left it at a very high level in terms of access to electricity. So in 2013, election was held, and of course I lost my seat in the now Kipkelion West constituency. I was a contender in the seat. I was contesting in my original party of ODM. And those who are familiar with the politics of the local, at that time the URP wave was sweeping like lightning. And I became part of the victims of that. So in 2013, the party recalled me to head the secretariat as executive director. Many people always think I was the secretary general. I wasn't. I was the executive director, the person who was charged with day-to-day running of that party, and work that I did until November 2014, when we had a political difference with quite a number of membership, and that is what Mheshimiwa Siel can remember about me. So we had, in politics, there are always highs and lows. And sometimes I look at that opportunity in front of the entire world media, and in many people, even outside the country. Recently, I had a Tanzanian friend who could remember me in light of that. Oh, you know, I remember the day these people were doing this to you. But that happens sometimes, especially when you have a stand. And I want to say to this house that personally, I normally have a stand, and I stand where the truth is. So probably I hurt a few people when I made a declaration that at that time that we were not going to win presidency soon if we never changed the way we were approaching things. I think over time I've been vindicated, and I'm happy that even as we move on now, our government is in a broad-based arrangement with the same people, so we are the same. So so I left ODM in 2014, around November there, formally. In 2018, I'll move first. In 2018, I was appointed, or I was given an opportunity to work with the Kericho Municipal Board under the then Governor, His Excellency Professor Chepkwony, where I came in as a board member for the first Kericho Municipality Board, which I am grateful that this House had clearly passed a law, including a charter, giving specifics on the expectations of the Municipal Board of Kericho when it was created as a municipality. I later, of course, left when we disagreed with those who were running, and purely on principle, on the basis of not adhering to what was supposed to be done. And my points were written. I'm sure it is somewhere in those files. And I said that I could not agree with the way a few things were happening there, especially the funds that were advanced by the Kenya Municipality Support Program. It was called KESUP. And to date, when I stand, I see one of the big things that we started when I was in the municipal board, the drainage within Kericho town. We established a new fire station. We did this park at, it's called Uhuru Park there. And basically, we did the market, which almost 10 years later, it has still not been opened. For the general information is that that was started way back when I was a member of the municipal board. Now, in my public service, that is what I did. There is this situation that came to me when I was growing up as well. The suffering of the people, the problems of hunger and poverty, and how easy it was to be alleviated if all the things that we did were put in place. I submit to this committee and this House that there are a number of things that we can be able to do together with the opportunity and even with the little resources that we have that can change the lives of our people forever. My personal philosophy, I want to say, coming from a humble background, of which most of you know, and having represented a marginalized constituency before, has shaped my view tremendously. By interacting with my constituents and listening to the needs and concern on the day-to-day basis is humbling, challenging, and is a life-changing experience. I believe that leadership, as in personal life, what matters at the end of it all is not what is left in the bank for one's family, but what will be left in the hearts and the lives of humanity. I can say I have mastered, Mr. Chairman, I've mastered how to be of use to myself, but now striving to be of use to others. And this, I believe, is all there is in life, to be useful to other people. So when I got this opportunity, maybe with the indulgence of future, I need to give a little bit of my background in terms of education so that maybe people don't get trouble. A number were asking me, why were you put on this and not the other? When I was at the university, I studied Bachelor of Science and majored in horticulture. So basically, I'm an agronomist by profession. Down there, I've done many other several short courses, some 1 week, some 3 months diploma, but relating mostly to the line of agriculture in general. At my master's level, I decided to try to be a manager, and therefore I studied business management at the university, Kenya Methodist University, and I graduated in 2017 with a Master of Business Administration in Strategic Management. So I look at that and it fits me very well for the docket that I've been brought in, because agriculture is a sector that needs revival. It's a sector that needs injection of new ideas which are workable. It's a sector that is fertile for our people. Upon the factors of production, one of them is land, which we have very good land. God has blessed us in Kericho, very good land, arable, sufficient rainfall, though with some shortage here and there. We have got enough human resource in terms of training, whether in certificate in agriculture or up to degree level or even at master's level. We don't lack. We have everything. This government, when the people of Kenya in the Constitution 2010 gave themselves this new constitution and adopted devolution as a new way of managing things, in their own wisdom, they pushed the entire agriculture into the counties. Main reason was domesticate. Can you do what is within your area that can be able to be done? Of course, retaining the policy making at the national level. So I see that as a big opportunity. And when I got this chance, I said I would plead with the Assembly and the committee to approve me so that we can try and align quite a number of things which are not aligned as now. And you'll agree with me, if we want to create wealth in this county, agriculture is the way to go. If today I want to add 200 shillings to every household in Kericho County, Mr. Chairman, all I need to do is to ensure that there is good return from milk, because virtually every family has a cow which they can milk. And those who don't own that cow, the Kalenjin people call it keramia, the other can give the other one a cow to take care because they have land. So if you impact anything to do with the dairy right now, we will be able to access some shillings to every pocket of our whole families or households that we have in Kericho County. And that is doable. Looking at the budget that this assembly has approved for the department in total, I think there is absolutely no reason for us not to be able to make serious progress.
Thank you. You still have 3 minutes to wind up the introduction so that we proceed to the next session.
I am advised, Chair. So, basically that is what I wanted to say. The capacity that is there in Kericho County has not been exploited. I believe with a good leadership at the helm, we have His Excellency the Governor, and at the department, if you approve me, I'll be there. And we relate very well with the Department of Agriculture and cooperatives of this assembly. We should be able to deliver on a wide range of goods, which I cannot be able to, which are gainsaid. There are opportunities, Mr. Chairman, on fish, for example. And when I looked at the department before I came here, I did my work, I discovered that we are something like 5% in terms of the potential. You know, fish industry, the other day I had attended the Nyanza International Investment Conference, and the entire Nyanza was discussing about fish. The only difference is that their fish is in Lake Victoria. We can also discuss about fish, which can be farmed in our farms and ponds. And that's a big, it gives a big opportunity. If you look at the other sector, poultry, if you look at small stock, I mean goats and sheep. And Mr. Chairman, given this opportunity, I will be seeking to introduce DOPA as an alternative livestock or small stock, because of the reasons that, if time allows, I can be able to enumerate here, that the DOPA, farming has got many benefits in terms of the quality of meat. They forage, they eat very little, and an acre, if you look at it, even without adding anything, an acre can be able to sustain between 20 to 30 sheep, which can attain about 30 to 45, 50 kilos in 6 months. So if you look at the turnaround, that is a quicker way of making money within our community, which we haven't done. So and other crops, for example, I looked at Roret, where is Mheshimiwa? We have pineapples around there and Koyualela cherry, which have not been, they are not rewarding as such. And when I looked at what the problem was, I discovered that the farmers have been able to, they don't have the correct variety. What farmers keep doing is to borrow what you have, and it has almost amounted to inbreeding. So it no longer produces as it is supposed to produce. So given this opportunity, and if this assembly approves me, we shall be seeking to introduce the right varieties to those farmers, because the climatic environment and the soil is perfect for the best pineapple growing.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Magerer. I know if you are given even 2 hours to see a passion is something different from what we see. First, maybe before I open the other, before we proceed to other things, after the perusal of your testimonials, we found that the CRP certificate you've provided before the committee is outdated. It is dated 15th March of 2022. I don't know whether you have another one.
Okay, maybe I'll submit the other one.
You have the other one?
I don't think I have. I don't know. I wasn't sure whether that was the date was expired. I thought, because most of those ones were cleared earlier, but I can get it. It's something that takes a short while.
Number 2, do you normally file returns with KRA?
Yes, I do.
You have not provided the clearance certificate from the Kenya Revenue Authority.
There is the one I gave is, I think I have those ones, Mr. Chair. If you can indulge me, I can.
Maybe because of time, you make sure
I'll provide.
you provide.
I'll provide.
Can you say within the next 24 hours?
No problem, I'll just provide that.
Thank you.
It is there.
Number 3.
Is that the KRA?
The KRA certificate.
It should be there.
The tax compliance.
The tax compliance, is
yes.
It there? It should be there. So I'm sure maybe I just got mixed up a bit when I...
Thank you. Make sure immediately we finish, you make sure you provide. Number 3 is that we wanted to inquire what will happen if appointed in regards to your current appointments. From your CV, you are one of the directors of National Oil Corporation. Number 2, you are a member of the Multi-Agency Steering Committee on Anti-Doping. So it seems you serve currently in National Oil Corporation, and at the same time you are in the steering committee on the multi-agency on the anti-doping. What will happen, assuming this committee finds you fit to serve as a county executive member for agriculture?
Thank you, Chair. I think my membership at the steering committee is actually coming to an end, because it was just a steering committee which was supposed to, if you look properly, it is enhanced. It is a steering committee on enhanced anti-doping agency, multi-agency, which involved the Athletics Integrity Unit, World Anti-Doping Agency, AK, ADAC, and I was representing the Minister for Sports at that time. So that
so it's not there.
I don't think there is any issue there.
What
But
was this
for
one
the
for?
National Oil, I was to ask my chairman, who is Honorable Kiraitu Rungi, and also to look at the legality. Since it's a board, we only sit like once or twice every 3 months. If it doesn't affect legally, then I don't have a problem. If it affects, then definitely, if you give me this opportunity, I am better off serving my people at home.
So it means you will have to resign on the other board because you cannot withdraw.
Yes, on the advice.
You cannot get the two benefits from the same government at the same time.
On the advice of the chair, I will definitely do so.
Is it on the advice of the chair?
Yes.
Can we seek interpretation maybe from our legal counsel?
Chair, we have a legal department as well, and we have what runs the state corporations called SCAC, State Corporations Advisory Committee. They will do it. Once, if you confirm me, my first thing is to write to them to give an advice, and I'll therefore definitely relinquish that opportunity.
Thank you. Now, Magerer, I think this will be a straight direct question, which we expect, or I expect the direct answers. I think you'll be very attentive. After going through your CV, it seems you've worked in several private and public offices. Now, with your very good work, have you ever been awarded an award or an honor for doing good?
Yes, of course, they are depending on which ones. When I left the Ministry of Energy, I was given a certificate.
Is it an honor?
And the only honor I got, if it's an honor, national honors, is the OGW, which you see me using every time, which I was given in line with my service as an assistant minister, and also champion of peace.
Thank you. Yeah. Are you a member of any professional association or any professional body?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet, but I'm a member of an association called Kenya Scouts Association. But that's just by association, and Red Cross.
Are you a life member or just a member?
Yes, I'm a life member of Red Cross.
Of Red Cross?
Yes.
Thank you. I think members, you are going through the vetting tool. I think the second question is, have you ever been dismissed or otherwise removed from office for contravention of provisions of Article 75? I know Dr. Shele had mentioned something, but we are not sure. You see, have you ever been dismissed or otherwise removed from the office for contravention of provisions of Article 75 of the
No, Mr. Chairman.
No. Have you ever been adversely associated with practices that depict biasness, favorism, or nepotism in the discharge of public duties?
No, Chairman.
No. On propane and charity works, I know during your introduction you had touched on it, but if you can repeat whether you've been participating in these charity or pro bono works to the community, you can mention.
Yes, I have been participating in quite a number of them. In my early days, I did the hunger work, it's called Food for Hunger. something like that. It's a long time though.
Was it on a pro bono?
Yes, pro bono.
Ah, good.
Yes. And of course, my service at the Red Cross and the Kenya Scouts Association as well.
Thank you. Do you have any objection to the making of inquiries with your present employers or referees by this committee during the process of approvals?
No problem at all.
Thank you. Maybe, have you ever published any writings?
I did, but it was during my fulfillment of my master's program.
So you published?
I did one publication.
You published?
Yes.
Thank you. In case, now that if this committee finds you fit, in case of a conflict of interest, because you've heard even from the members, though they were declaring, seems you have so many friends, so many relatives and the likes, in any case of issues that bring about the conflict of interest, what are you going to do?
Mr. Chairman and the committee, I think I would say I'm experienced in conflict resolutions. I've had an opportunity actually to be trained in one or two of those organizations I've worked with on conflict resolutions mechanisms. So I would be definitely find a way we could redress and not go physical, but go the way that as much as possible can be negotiated, or stick within the providence of the laws.
Thank you. Mr. Magerer, this committee is keen to know the kind of person they are affecting. How rich are you? What is your net worth?
How rich I am? I'm not rich, I'm just modest, Kenya. Maybe, Mr. Chair, if you can allow me, are you asking about the property?
Financial net worth, generally.
Financial?
Yes.
Maybe I would start by saying I have a family property at home in Siret.
Maybe in total what belongs, we are not interested with the family. Maybe, not unless your family. You are nuclear family as Magerer.
Yes, it's my nuclear family.
Ah, yes.
Talking about mine. Yeah, I have a home for my family now, my nuclear family in Siret.
Yes.
About 15 acres of land.
What?
The value of that area is a bit low, so we put it maybe plus the house at 10 million.
10 million.
Maybe. Plus, of course, the other structures, which I'm a farmer, so we have other structures within the farm.
So in total, your approximation, I know you've been a public officer and you normally declare wealth more. So the last you declared how much?
I had declared 32.
So the much that you can declare today during this vetting?
I was going on, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I have a house in Nairobi worth almost about that 10 million. And the house which Wanachiriot Beta said we are neighbors here in town. I can't quite estimate the value, but it's about, maybe it's about another 4 or 5 there. Then a property at Kipkelian town, which I was trying to develop. Maybe it also worth about 5. And some little cash in the account there. Yes.
So we can generally say you are worth around 40 million?
Maybe on the higher side, yes.
Thank you. The last one, the second last. Have you ever been charged in a court of law in the last 3 years?
Not any.
Not any. Have you ever been adversely mentioned in an investigatory report of Parliament,
No,
County Assembly, or any other commission of inquiry in the last 3 years?
not any, Mr. Chairman.
Not any. Are you now, from your explanation, we've seen you've been a member of several political parties. Currently, you are a member of which political party?
Mr. Chairman, currently, I'm not a member of any political party.
You are not a member of any political party?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Magerer, for that interactive session. I now wish to open the floor for the honorable members, maybe to direct questions to Honorable Magerer Langat. And I will wish this time round, the other time I used to start with from my left, this time round, if there is any member within my right to start, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Chairman, and congratulations to Honorable Magerer Langat.
Thank you.
Now that you are an expert in the field of horticulture, and you see you have been focusing more on the other crops like tea, the other crops like coffee, and sometimes you forget the horticultural crops, which I know in other counties is actually bringing in a lot of revenue and also income to the farmers. If you successfully get appointed to be the CEC, what do you do to ensure that the farmers will do the high value crops that is in the horticulture? And how are we going to actually assist the farmers to achieve that? Again, we have seen coffee is coming up, especially in the areas of the east and west. And I know you have participated a lot in development of coffee sector in that area. It's very good to also have in mind that area like Kilion East, which used not to grow coffee, is currently growing coffee. You can tell this committee the strategy that you will be able to employ so that maybe in the next few years, the coffee coverage will also go up. Again, in zoning, how will you zone the county so that specialization and farmers will be able to specialize and improve in agriculture? We have the new mill, the maize mill. In your opinion, do you think the maize mill will be able to be run by the county government, or what are your proposals so that the maize mill that is being constructed in Kibawa will be able to get value at the same time benefit the farmers and the county at large?
Thank you, Honorable Vincent. Let us stick to at least a question, one each.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Langat.
Yes,
Most of our farmers sell their farm produce in raw form, meaning that when they do it, they lose a lot of money. Immediately after the inception of devolved units, Kericho County had an elaborate plan with an aim of enhancing the value of farm produce by introducing the idea of value addition. In fact, every word was to specialize in a particular farm item. Unfortunately, that one never succeeded. My brother, if in any case you are given this opportunity to serve as the CEC agriculture, what mitigations are you going to put in place to see to it that our farmers can realize a substantial profit from their sweat? Number two.
I want us to stick to. Thank you.
In Kericho County, we have large farms that belong to the county. But it is very shameful that we don't get anything reasonable from these farms. We have Kipsitet, a big farm in Kipsitet. We also have Kabianga Tea Farm. We have coffee in Kipkelia. But when you look at, for example, Kipkelia, because I come from Kipkelia, when Kipkelian Urban Council was there, before the inception of devolved units, Kipkelian Urban Council used to get 5 million annually from a 30-acre farm of coffee. Unfortunately, my brother, as we are talking, the county is hardly getting even $1 million from the same farm. A challenge, my brother. What are you going to do if in any case you are given this responsibility to be in charge of the docket of agriculture? What are you going to do?
Thank you, Honorable Anthony.
To revive Kipkelian Coffee Farm and also Kabianga and Kipsitet. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Honorable Francis.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. My question is, it concerns disease control. In our county, on Magerer, we have various ways of controlling diseases. And since inception of devolution, we have been having cattle dips revival. And over a certain period of time, they become inactive. Kindly, what is the viability of these cattle dips? Because considering in mind that we have very few animals in some parts of the county, especially in parts of Bureti where we have very few animals, what is the viability of these cattle dips? Considering that we need to have value for our money. Number two, as an agronomist, what is the best agronomic practices that can help our farmers in achieving the optimal production within the agriculture? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Maybe before I give to other honorable members, Honorable Magerer, can you please answer those ones? And I think we will be having another 20 minutes before we close this session. So kindly be direct to the question.
Thank you, Chair. I'll try to be guided. I want to thank the members who have posed these important questions, starting from Mheshimiwa Korir. The high value crops in horticulture is what has been the missing link in our agriculture. As I know, that is my specialty. And we have got crops that are short period, which can give a lot of income to our farmers. I have in mind, tomatoes or capsicums generally, for those who are familiar with those terms. you have things like Minjis for the local language that we are using, and then generally even the potatoes and all those things, which take only between up to 4 or 5 months for them to be mature. I'll be working to ensure that we establish this sector very well. There are quite a number of sector players. Amiran is one of them whom I intentionally intend to target for promotion of those some of those crops. You know, the tomatoes in greenhouses, normally they do much better and have higher returns. So I believe that while we are budgeting for some of these areas within the normal year budget, I'll ensure that resources are allocated. I'll also ensure that we set up cold storage facilities. I'm aware that in some places, for example in Kunyak and other areas, you can have a lot of tomatoes in Chilchila, where Mheshimiwa Ezron is coming from, and a number of times they get rotted in the market. So I'll be seeking the approval of this House, the indulgence of our governor, so that we can have cold storage facilities, you know, in some of those areas that we are targeting to have these horticultural crops, especially the potatoes, the tomatoes, and the capsicums in general. When it comes to the coffee expansion, I think, which I will tie with this question on zoning and all that, I intend to carry out what we call crop mapping within our county, so that we advise the farmers correctly. If you go to some other areas, you will find farmers trying to grow a crop that does not, you know, yield very well within those specific areas. So I'll work with my department and the officers there to ensure that we are proper crop mapping, so that the farmers who are within an area that can be able to grow particular crops are able to do that. And I think it is a low-lying fruit there. It involves the technical expertise, which I think the county has. Number 2, on running that's on specialization, running the maize mill, as well as Kabianga Tea Farm, according to the question by Honorable Ruto, as well as Kipkelion. Mr. Chairman, I submit to the thinking that a county government, it's not the business of the county government to do business. It is the business of the county government to provide an environment good enough for the investors to do business. So because these are some of the areas that we already own, and I am happy to have come across some of the acts that you have done here, Kabianga Tea Farm, Kericho County Agricultural Training Center, and the likes. We have this particular act that has been passed by this House. I will be working with the department and also the Office of the Governor and the Assembly to establish some company which is fully owned by the county government, you know, in the same way you have established Kewasco, to ensure that we give it a company, a holding that can be able to manage within the standards of that management, so that the county government becomes the trustee and can be able to supervise correctly. We can be able to even double or triple the earnings in Kabianga if we are able to improve on the management. The Agricultural Training College, Mr. Chairman, I think is grossly underutilized. When I looked at it, the 4,000 acres available, and we cannot do anything apart from maybe growing some bomber roads. We need to inject some good amount of money. When I looked at the budget that this assembly passed last year, 24-25, is coming to an end, a paltry 3 million shillings was allocated to improvement of that ATC. Mr. Chairman, I plead with this House to reconsider. That training area is a very important facility. that we can be able to train our farmers, and training here is continuous. It is not enough to have workshops or expos, because those are only day activities, and that's not enough. We will need to have trainings continuously for farmers across the sectors within the agricultural sector. You know, we can have a performing dairy, we can have fish ponds there, complete with hatchery. We don't have to be buying you know, fingerlings from outside the county. We can do our own fingerlings using the land that we have and the training that we have. We also have a facility in Kipkelion called Agricultural Mechanization Services, which is very dormant. You know, I looked at part of the works they are supposed to do is to actually support irrigation, small irrigation and ponds and all those kind of things. If we reactivate some of these institutions that we have within, then I believe we can be able to roll quickly the gains. If you look at the mill that is coming up in Kedo, it's a very good, it's an excellent idea, but from experience, such entities cannot be run directly by the county. So a county will require a saga to be able to run that particular organization, which I believe, if the assembly gives me this opportunity, we'll be able to come back here to create a law. Actually, we can have one institution created or one company created that can run all the sagas under the Department of Agriculture for the benefit of the people of Kericho. Mr. Mheshimiwa Terer talked about the disease control in livestock, and it is true, one of the biggest problems we have and we face, our farmers face, is tick-borne diseases. And that is basically why we talk about cattle lips. Mr. Chairman, I would like to inform this committee that the spraying, the hand spraying that most of our farmers would like to adopt when they are managing some of these vectors within their farms is not adequate. Mr. Chairman, the pump pressure that our farmers use is not sufficient to be able to penetrate the skin so that it can get to the ticks or the ticks that normally lodge in the animals. That is why world over, if we cannot use the dipping, then you better use a machine spraying. And machine spraying is expensive to install and expensive to maintain. So I'll be seeking concurrence again with the assembly to ensure that we improve some of those cattle dips in areas that are accessible to many of our farmers. Because once we are able to control ticks, then 3/4 of the animal problems, animal disease problems, are alleviated. We can be able to deal with the worms and those others. But the worst diseases are those which are caused by the vectors. So we will be looking at that. It is viable. Your question was whether it is viable. To me, it is very viable. We can only be able to change the management. In the last regime, I had an opportunity to interact with His Excellency, the retired governor, but his view was a little bit different. It was that one of I have given. So when the first chemicals were allowed with the farmers, word went out that the farmers are supposed to dip for free. Mr. Chairman, when you dip an animal, it moves with the dawa. So scientifically, they say it takes away about 5 liters of water, which is mixed with the acaricide. So definitely you have to replenish by multiplying the number of heads of the cattle or sheep or goats that have passed through the dip, so that you can be able to replenish to keep the potency of the dip. And that is what was missing. So we need to emphasize within our communities, which is something that is doable, just information, that they will have to cost share with the county, pay a little, so that they can be able to replenish and allow the dips to run themselves. If we are going to become benevolent and we say we just give, then we may not realize. Finally,
thank you.
Finally, the farmers, what can the farmers do if they have to attain optimum gains within their farms. It is very clear the world is now going to value addition. If you are value adding any product from our farms, definitely you are increasing the value and the cost of that. So as a county minister, I will be engaging with the stakeholders and this assembly to ensure that we are able to value add in many products, starting from milk and even the crops, so that we, instead of just selling it as raw for someone else to go and use it to manufacture, we can be able to pool around partners. Mr. Chair, I plan to hold an agri-business forum where it will bring together those people who are investors in the industry, the county government, and the farmers when they are organized within the cooperative sector or groups, so that we can be able to discuss and see which way we can be able to go so that we can value add. We can, if investors find the volumes that we are producing within our county are sufficient to run a certain factory or industry, then we shall be able to reap.
Maybe Honorable Magerer, if this committee finds you fit, I know you still have an engagement with the committee, sectoral committee. I want to take two from this end, then we should be winding up in the next 10 minutes.
Okay, thank you, Chair. I'm happy the nominee is coming from Talacha Kenya. And equally, I'm happy because he came with farmers from his area. There is a dairy in Kipkelian Dairy, which maybe you are a member or you are a customer, and it has collapsed. There is also a cooling plant at Tukunon, constructed at a cost of more than 50 million, and it is there underutilized. What new ideas or what will be your input to make sure that all those cooling plants become viable and be benefit to our farmers? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Magerer.
Thank you, Chair. If you permit me, Chair, I have 3 questions. One is to congratulate the Honorable Magerer for making it this far. My first question, the Honorable Magerer, is that I remember in 2018 we vetted you here as a member of the Kericho County Municipal Board, but you left unceremoniously within 2 years before the end of your term. I am worried if we give you a green light, you may also leave unceremoniously. You will tell us what happened until you left before the end of your term, given that this administration, the administration that we have, 9 CECs have already been shown the way. Number 2, so you will tell us what exactly happened until you left as a member of Kericho Municipal Board. Number 2, growing up in the lower part of this county, especially the lower part of Ainamoi and in greater part of Soin-Sigawet, the lower part of this county, we've always been told of stories that there are oil reserved in our areas. Now that you are a member of the National Oil Corporation, you will also brief us whether the myth that we've always been fed with, that we have oil reserve in our place, is a myth or it has some facts. And now that you've also been given that membership position from 2021, you've been a member of the national from 2021.
23.
23. Okay. So, what benefit has the county of Kericho benefited through your position, being the member of that board, and of course tying it with now the oil reserve that we are told sometimes when As I said, when we were growing up, we sometimes see helicopters flying over our places, so they are telling us until there are some oil reserve in our places. Finally, 3 questions here, because that is what I humbly requested you. The Fortenan coffee mill, you are the brainchild. As you were introducing yourself, you rightly told us that you are the brainchild behind the Fortenan coffee mill. In your own view, and as a coffee farmer coming from that place, will you say that that coffee mill served the objectives and purpose for which you fought for, coming from that place? And maybe finally, what is your vision? You know, we've been vetting people here. I told the other candidate chair that I am the long-serving member in this committee. I have been a member of appointment committee from 2013. Very many CECs and CEOs are passed through my hands. We've been promised a lot, seated there, only to deliver dismally. Give us your vision for the Department of Agriculture, now that this is the, you know, a backbone of our economy. Kericho County is an agricultural county, tying it with the multinationals, tea farms, or tea companies that we have. What is your vision? That by the end of the first term of Governor Dr. Mutai, we will look back and say, oh, there lived a CEC for agriculture called Honorable Magerer Langat, who did this and this for 2.5 years that he was in office. If at all you will not leave office before the end of your term, because you left the other one. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. You have bet Honorable Magerer kindly and direct to the point, because I think we are short of time.
Okay.
Kindly answer those ones, and I will not admit any other question going forward now.
Thank you, Chair. I will try to run through the questions first. Let me thank Mheshimiwa Maritim, aka Edawa, for the question is put across. The most important thing about the dairy program entirely within the county, and specifically the Kipkelian dairy issue, as well as I think it is called Tugunon. Yeah, Tugunon. Intention of Tugunon was basically to bulk the milk, but I think over time, cooperatives have been affected by bad governance, and since I've been nominated to the docket of cooperatives, if this House approves me, I will definitely rein into the issue of governance within all our cooperatives, and which is to blame for much of the failure in especially Kipkelian dairy and the non-starting of the Tugunon project, which was envisaged. Number two, I think there has been a problem of pricing in milk, so that the milk that gets into the cooperatives are bought or is bought very lowly, and with a lot of deductions, transport and running costs and all those things. So the farmer is not, when the farmer does his calculations, he doesn't seem to be satisfied with the prices that we are giving. So we are going to look at how else we can be able to subsidize the dairy sector, and also help the farmer to be able to get the feeds, which contributes largely to the issue of wheat. So with that, Mr. Chair, I intend to introduce a new variety of Napier, which is a fodder, called Junkao. Junkao has a possibility of growing up to 5 meters in height, and is highly nutritious, unlike all the other fodders that we have been able to get around. So with time, I will be able to give the details on that particular crop. It has got very high protein concentration, and also the fodder itself. And and the animal, once you are able to, if we are able to roll down or roll out the project correctly, we will be able to cut down on the consumption of the dairy meals and all that, which will therefore lead to lowering the cost of production, and therefore we can be able to uptake the prices that are competitive within the particular areas. Number two is that I intend to mop up all the milk around our county, and we see how we can introduce processing of our own milk into the long life milk, that is the 3 months and 6 months, and any other dairy products, which will give us more time to be able to sell some of those products. So I think that should be able to ensure that our farmers are now back in dairy. What we have now is that the farmers are running away from the dairy production, and because of the costs. And also the issue of AI, Mheshimiwa had asked earlier on, we need to look at what are the demerits of AI, what is making farmers difficult to uptake the improvement of the breeds themselves. And one of the issues, Mr. Chairman, is that we get farmers and the people who are administering the AI may not be as experienced as they should be. And it is very expensive to buy semen costing over 5, 6, 7, even 10,000, and then you are told after 21 days that you have to repeat the same. The other issue is to train the farmers to be able to detect heat when their animals exhibit that kind of thing. Because if you are not able to detect the heat in your cows, then definitely you will miss the insemination. And that has been one of the areas that has been a challenge in terms of the improvement of the breed. Mr. Chairman, our farmers have lost quite an amount by running into the neighboring counties to buy expensive stock, which cannot be sustained within our area because of obvious reasons. Maybe that one we can discuss, as you said, with the other committee. Mheshimiwa Cheriot has asked me why I left unceremoniously. Mheshimiwa, I never left the county unceremoniously. If you are aware, our retired governor, there was a change in the law, the Urban Areas and Cities Act, which provided that some qualification needed to have been considered before appointing people to that board, to serve in that board. And in our board, some of our members had lower qualifications than what the law prescribed. In the event, we expected that those with the lower non-compliant qualifications were to be exited, because that is what the law provided in the amendment, and maybe new members brought in who fitted the bill. But instead, the entire board was supposedly disbanded, and a new one appointed. I don't know whether it was with the approval of the House, I didn't see, and some of our names were missing. If you can remember, Mr. Chair, I and my other friend, colleague, board member, we went to court to challenge the decision, and eventually the Employment and Labor Relations Court allowed the governor his way, and the good thing was everyone was to foot his costs. So hatukuumia sana. That is how I left the municipal board. But basically because we disagreed in terms of how that law, when it was amended, was implemented. And I want to draw your attention, Chair, to the amendment to the Urban Areas and Cities Act of 2017 or 2018, that amendment. So that's how I left. It was not unceremoniously, I was just seen off silently. The lower part of Ainamoi, Mheshimiwa, you have said you only read about development. I want to pledge to this House and Chairman that given the opportunity, we will look at the entire county in its entirety, with the crop mapping and even the stock mapping, so that we know also what can be done where, and we ensure that equitable distribution, even in terms of allocation, is done, so that every part of this county may be able to fill. With no intentions of challenging the House, but I looked at the budget, which is 24-25, and there was a big allocation. If you look at some of this, the things that were allocated there within agriculture, some areas were allocated so much money, and others not so much. So we will, I will be seeking to ensure that there is a value for our money in wherever we propose to take that particular amounts, so that every part of the county can be able to accept.
Thank you very much, Honorable Magerer.
If you would allow me just to say in a nutshell the vision, so that
yes,
Mheshimiwa does.
I just wanted to say, maybe as you finish with the vision now, you combine with your closing remarks.
I'll just mention, Mr. Chair, thank you. Yes, I will just mention that the first thing is I seek to align my vision, Mr. Chair, to the better agenda. His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, has an agenda running, which I think we should be able to take advantage as the county of Kericho to align. So the first objective that I have is to increase agricultural productivity through modern techniques and climate smart agriculture. Second item is to promote value addition, which we have discussed here, and agribusiness to enhance profitability. The third and most important one is strengthen market access. This one I'll be seeking the support of my other colleagues in transport, in trade, to ensure that our farmers are able to access markets with their produce, so that these markets also can be able to provide a link in terms of a link to the buyers of the product. The third one is enhance financial inclusion and access to credit to our farmers. And Mr. Chair, around this idea, I'm thinking about Kericho County Development Fund. If we can work together and establish such a fund, I believe that this idea can be able to be realized in terms of affordable credit to our farmers, something akin to what we have now, the agricultural finance.
Thank you. I think your vision is now clear.
Finally, foster the youth and women participation in agribusiness and improve extension services and capacity building of farmers. That's basically the areas that.
Thank you, Dr. Magerer. There is a question by the people who are following us online, and they have suggested that Honorable Anthony Ruto to directly pose the question to you. So kindly.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Langat.
Yes, Mheshimiwa.
Ikelion East. Mechali Longiani.
Yes.
They have a part of Ikelion one yet. By Rethram does well in those areas. Thanks to God, because the crop is coming back. What strategies are you going to put in place so that the same can be achieved maximally? Because before the collapse of the crop, most of the people in Yani and other part of Kenya were relying naturally on this crop for their livelihood. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Maybe you will just answer that and then you close.
Thank you. Chair, had it not been for the pressure of time, I would have enumerated what I intended to do with specific crops that lie and that therein lie an opportunity for Kericho County to be able to measure in. But because you have asked about pyrethrum, definitely pyrethrum is in line. Even if you look at the agricultural part of the agenda that I have, the crop agenda, I have deliberately included pyrethrum. Because of this issue I've talked to you about mapping of the crops that can can grow in certain areas. So definitely pyrethrum has been captured as one of the leading cash crop within the upper part of Kipkelion and some parts of Londiani, which I think His Excellency the Governor had already started issuing some seeds, if I'm correctly aware, in some areas. So definitely all we need to do is to boost that kind of farming. I hope some of the extension officers whom we have employed will be able to focus more on some of those crops, which are high value crops. And we work together also to ensure that, because setting up a pyrethrum factory may be dependent on the quantities, but we will work in that format that I've said, that we will have during our agricultural forum, we will have a meeting whereby the investors can come in to be able to see the potentiality of pyrethrum as a crop within our area, and maybe consider partnering with the county in a way so that we can even have the high efficiency machines that can be able to process pyrethrum nowadays, not the old machine that you normally see in Nakuru, which is ancient in terms of technology. There are modern machines which are less costly and are very effective in processing of pyrethrum. Yes. So since the chair has said I make my closing remarks. Yes. Mr. Chair, let me start by appreciating you and the committee and the assembly in general for giving me this opportunity to interact. You'll agree with me that agriculture is such a wide sector that it is not enough to summarize it in 1 hour. But I think the opportunity that we have had can be able to, I've been able to, showcase a little bit on what I can be able to do. I will be seeking, if approved by this assembly, to work closely with this assembly to develop quite a number of regulations to operationalize some of the acts that this House has been able to pass, the food security, and many others that have been able to be passed by this House, so that the implementation can begin for some of these issues that we have in the county. By and large, our county has a big potential in agriculture sector, and I want to believe that in the next 2 years or 2.5, God willing, we will be able to make significant milestones. So I plead with you to approve my nomination so that we can be able to move together and move our county forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Magerer Langat. On behalf of the County Assembly members and the staff, we want to wish you all the best in your current and future endeavors. We want to inform you that the committee will be very objective, and that I think they are retreating from today. That's why we are in a hurry to do the reports. And finally, the report will be tabled at the floor of the House. If you get the opportunity to be approved, kindly do what you've promised the House. This is the House of Records. I know we will one day charge you either positive or negative based on what you've communicated today, but we have trust and belief that you are going to do the best for the people of Kericho if given the opportunity. Otherwise, we want to wish you the very best, and before the closure of business tomorrow, kindly make sure that you deposit your clearance by the CRP and the KRA with our clerks, maybe by the end of business tomorrow. Otherwise, we want to wish you the best. Our visitors in the gallery, thank you for being very disciplined. We didn't expect, you see, with such a big number of people, we expected some cheering here, but because you are there to the rules and procedures of this House, we must say thank you. And before you leave, Honorable Magerer, together with your visitors, make sure you sit maybe in our boardroom one, you get a cup of tea. This is a very good house, you know.
then we end there. So members, there being no other business, this session stands adjourned until we meet next week.